After 10 plus years of owning a gut health company, here are the biggest mistakes we see people make with their gut health cleanup. I'm going to be direct. I'm not going to pull punches, so I apologize in advance. One, if a person has constipation, the big mistake that they start off is they think that they should start off with a cleanup. False. If your system is clogged up, that is what is probably contributing to or causing your pathogen overgrowth and buildup. You need to first open detox pathways. You need to turn on the system. You need to open the doors so pathogens can flow through. Otherwise, they just recycle through the system. Laxatives and enemas do not count. They contribute to imbalances. So the first mistake people make is if they have constipation and slow motility issues, they start with a cleanup. Don't do that. Number two, the second big mistake people make is they don't understand that pathogens coexist. They attack parasites. They're like, I'm going to do a parasite cleanup. What the hell? I'm going to do a candida cleanup. I'm like, what? Newsflash. Parasites cause an environment that is friendly, hospitable, and welcoming to bad bacteria. So if you have parasite issues, you're going to have a bad bacteria issue. Candida overgrowth and candida issues are caused by bacterial imbalances, bad bacteria pathogen overload. Go research it. So the second mistake people make in their gut health cleanups is they target a pathogen. You clean it all up at the same time or you are going to continue to have problems. Which leads to the next mistake people make. They take solutions and options that don't penetrate, puncture, and unravel biofilm. Pathogens build biofilm. Biofilm is a protective shield. And so if you do not have something that's going to fully puncture, penetrate, and unravel biofilm, you aren't going to fully clean up your system. Here's something that's fun. I am sure somebody's going to comment and say, oh yeah, oregano or whatever punctures bacterial biofilm. Here's my rebuttal. Did you know that there are mixed species biofilms? Fact. Candida and fungal issues create biofilm with bacteria. So if you don't have something that's puncturing a mixed species biofilm, you aren't successfully cleaning up your gut. Fact. Here's the next one. This is a huge mistake. Everybody seems to think that probiotics are the answer to everything. We love probiotics. You don't use probiotics to do a deep cleanup of the gut. False. I'm going to give an example. Somebody reached out yesterday to customer service and they were emphatic that they needed the probiotic. They needed one product and it needed to address SIBO. There is not a probiotic that is effective at addressing SIBO or major gut problems. It doesn't exist, folks. Our top product is a probiotic. And I know what they're thinking. People are saying Espilarti helps with SIBO, and it does. It's 30% successful. Does 30% sound really good to you? It doesn't sound good to me. That sounds like a shitty response, okay? Do I like Espilarti? Love it. Like I said, it's in our probiotic. Are probiotics the answer for SIBO and big imbalances? No, they're not. Are they good at the right time? Yes, but they're not great up front, okay? Next, dosing. There is a big difference between mild problems and big problems. So I understand that people want one pill to address a big problem and they want it to work fast. I'm aware. It's inexpensive, it's convenient. We all like the fast food, 2-minute in and out, 2-day delivery from Amazon type stuff, but you don't get fit overnight and you don't get gut fit overnight. Those are the facts. Personal experience. I had major gut issues. I had major bloating issues. Hell, if I even looked at produce, I bloated, okay? Like big bloating, like embarrassing bloating, have to undo your pants at 4 o'clock in the afternoon because you just feel bloated and shitty. I was there. That took 7 to 8 months. Why? Because everything causes bloating. Everything. Slow digestion, pancreatic insufficiency, SIBO, SIFO, inflammation, shit, everything causes bloating. It's a process to rebuild the system so you can digest food in a normal way. And a food avoidance is not your answer. I'm just telling you. But if you're going to pull a big ass boat to the lake, you don't buy a damn Prius. You buy a big freaking truck, right? Right. This applies in gut health. You go with the appropriate dose of whatever the protocol is that's unraveling and breaking everything apart. You do that out the gate. And that leads to the next mistake people make. You don't resolve big issues quickly. That doesn't happen. You don't become super fit overnight, and you don't become gut fit overnight. Be aware, it takes time. A very thorough cleanup's going to take 90 to 120 days. That is a fact. Now let's go to the next big problem, discomfort. People seem to think that if they have discomfort in a cleanup, that it's bad, or they just quit. They're like, oh shit, that's uncomfortable. I coach football. I always tell the boys, get comfortable with uncomfortable. Hard things are what's required to do hard things, okay? So what do you do? Well, it's simple. Here's the simple answer to avoiding discomfort, which some people may call die-off from a cleanup. 1, go in slow. Go slow. There's no reason. You don't have to dive all the way in. You can see a protocol from us or somebody else, and you can still start off at a quarter of the dose and work your way up. Just go slow. We pair a heavy unraveler of all the pathogens with a binder, because the binder binds the LPS and stuff like that. That is one of the main causes of a lot of the discomfort associated with cleaning up the gut. So we also pair a very, very effective binder with our, what we would call an unraveler in our cleanup process. But the answer is always just to go slow. You can always start with a low dose and work up. Quitting is not an answer. That's not an answer. People are like, oh shit, that's uncomfortable. My daughter has been in college and she served a church mission. I know you're like hearing me talk and you're like, you have a child that served a church mission. I know, shocking to me too. But her gut was a total disaster, and she started doing a cleanup, and it was super uncomfortable for her. And I kept saying, reduce the dose and stick with it, damn it. You need to make it through. I went through this. It was super painful, but it works, okay? Next and last, when you get done with the cleanup, you do not stop. You rebuild the microbiome, and then you maintain it. If you were to get fit suddenly, you're like super fit, and then you stopped exercising and eating healthy, what would happen? Well, you'd become unfit. Same thing applies with gut health. Once you do a heavy cleanup, you rebuild the microbiome, and then you maintain gut health. Maintenance is easy. It's not difficult. It's simple and it's affordable, okay? So those are the biggest mistakes we see as it pertains to a gut health cleanup. I will give you our suggested answer to those problems, and then you do whatever the hell you want. If you have slow motility issues, like I said in the first point, you do the slow motility plus protocol, which is motility and reflux. And you take the appropriate dosing for your problems over the appropriate amount of time. And if there's any discomfort, just like with a cleanup, you reduce the dosing and you keep going. And if there's a problem, you message us, because this works. That works extremely well. It's not a laxative. It's not an enema. We're not turning your damn system off. We're turning it on, and we're doing it correctly. Peristalsis, migrating motor complex, the gut-brain axis, the parasympathetic nervous system. We're hitting bile flow. We're turning it all on. We want your system to be working on its own. As it pertains to the cleanup, we pair Nano Scrub and Cleanse together. I call this, the Nano Scrub, the ultimate unraveler, because it's going to unravel everything and it's going to puncture biofilm. And this binds everything. And we've got tons of research on both, but you should go slow. Please read the directions. If you're going to spend money on stuff, read the directions on figuring out how to use it. Does this work? Yes. We created this approach to a gut health cleanup because it's the most effective way we have found to do it. And it works. Doing a cleanup to just continue to have problems is absolutely dumb. Don't do that, please. Works. If you have constipation issues, start with the slow motility and then move over to the cleanup. I hope this helps, and I'm sorry if I'm super direct. Bye.